So the party and the criminal organization, the European political history is familiar with the phenomenon of political parties that operate lawfully, yet are either very favorably disposed or even collaborate with illegal organizations, described as criminal or terrorist organizations by the current legal order. These parties are in principle political expressions of radical ethnic identity and act as a political wing of an outlawed cell. So we have the case of ETA and the relations with Henry Batasuna in the Basque Country. You have the relations from Sinn Féin and IRA, DTP and PKK in Turkey. These are the most recent. Of course, notwithstanding obvious inconsistencies, Golden Dawn is a case that breaks the traditional rule of relations cell and political wing, for the reason that in the case of Golden Dawn, cell and wing coincide. They are the same thing, actually. So the criminal organization is or is in the political party. Certain political party structure coincide with the criminal organization structure, and of course, given the fact that certain of its members engage under strict hierarchy and coordination in illegal acts due to the fact that they are members of the organization. This explains why some members of the Golden Dawn could be equally regarded as members of the criminal organization and the political party, whereas some others not. This particular Greek status I tried to describe can be attributed to a number of reasons. The first is that in Greece, due to the recent historical past of coup d'etat and generally abnormal constitutional history of the biggest part of the 20th century, there is a general political culture of intolerance in the prohibition of political parties' operation, unlike in other parts of Europe. We deny that. And, of course, the Golden Dawn used this denial in order to create this bifold, let's say, nature of a political party, which is in fact a criminal gang. The second reason of this particular Greek, let's say, status or pattern is the fact that, as Thanasis said, for many years, major departments and of state institutions, particularly charged with ensuring public order, have not been prosecuting members of the Golden Dawn, even if they were provokingly committing crimes. I particularly here refer to the police and the judiciary, but you can also find links of the far right with the Greek so-called deep state within the Greek church, or to a lesser extent the Greek army. So actually that is a result of a research we've conducted last year under the auspices of the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation here, and it ended up with the publication in English and in Greek on the infiltration of the Greek state apparatus by far-right Whig elements. So the third reason of this Greek particularity is the fact that for a considerable period of time, a so-called serious Golden Dawn was expected to come up as a kind of sustainable solution in the fragile Greek political system by certain circles of the conservative establishment in this country. This approach has been shared by the ex-Prime Minister Samaras' environment and by a good part of the media. The same surroundings were very eager in promoting the so-called theory of the extremes, the one extreme being the left, the other being the Nazis. Golden Dawn had been equally useful in order to fulfill the necessary conditions of the plausibility of this extremist theory, which has been the theory of the previous government. So what's for sure, and what should be highlighted right from the beginning here, is that unlike similar formations in Western Europe, Golden Dawn has never been a party of outsiders, a pariah organization. It has always had its supporters within the police, the state, the judiciary, and the church, and this did not change when the organization made it into the Greek parliament. Its action was simply split in two parts: a legal public and a clandestine criminal one, that is a political and a military branch, both under the same leadership. Second, the Nazi strategy of tension. In the most interesting part of an interview given by a prominent member of the Golden Dawn on BBC on October 17th, Panagioteros, in 2012, Panagioteros says, that is a fantastic quote: "The Greek society is ready for a new kind of civil war. On the one side, there will be the nationalists like us, and Greeks who want our country to be as it was. And on the other side, illegal migrants, anarchists, and all those who have repeatedly destroyed Athens." I think it's particularly revealing. The war will not be against the degenerated political class of the memorandum, the bankers, or even against the left, which covets the power, although the term anarcho-leftist is very common in the language of Golden Dawn. This, according to Panagioteros, is not yet the enemy. The enemy is the anarchists and the migrants, a blend that has already been targeted as intolerable for the Greek society as a whole and, par excellence, by the Greek police. Besides, as for Golden Dawn, all migrants should come to be legal. The reference to this status potentially includes the totality of the migrants' population in this country. So the strategy of tension that Golden Dawn launched after the elections to 2012 had two main objectives, in the middle and in the macro level. According to this scenario, Golden Dawn wished that the previous government would fail entirely, and then the left will soon come to power, as it happened. So then, after their failure, when the conditions become more mature, it will be their turn to come in power. Thus, the long-term objective is the historical objective of Nazism, the overthrow of the democratic regime, which Golden Dawn disapproves openly in its status. This policy pertains to the historically proven formula of right-wing extremism, the strategy of tension. This strategy, that feeds the fear of people against a particular group, divides and manipulates public opinion by means of horror, propaganda, and provocation. In the case that the enemy of the Golden Dawn, that means the anarchists and the migrants, decide to slither into this confrontation, the conditions will be mature enough for the existential decision of all the rest, and predominantly for the crucial standpoint of the Greek police and the middle class. Who is the enemy? Nationalists or out-of-control monarchies who confederate with the invaders of the nation, illegal migrants? Undoubtedly, in this class, the dilemmas are more than simple. This strategy of tension, which was very, very carefully elaborated and worked out by the Golden Dawn until September 2013, has gone wrong then. It is exactly then that the Golden Dawn lost the control of this strategy by murdering Physsas and by committing other illegal acts. In their arrogance, they simply went too far and they've proven their recklessness. Pavlos Physsas' assassination in September 2013, as an outcome of previous event, became a catalyst for crucial developments regarding the position of Golden Dawn in the Greek political map. To put it simply, even the right felt unsettled because then they saw that even as Golden Dawn was claiming to give hegemonic expression to the country's traditional circles of extreme conservatism, it now posed a real threat to social peace and public order. In the autumn 2013, the limits were reached in the Greek Republic until then unjustifiable and unbearable tolerance towards its enemy. Golden Dawn, obviously, was then revealed as a criminal organization combining nationalist socialist ideology with mafia practices. Even if we finish with the trial, if we finish with the trial with the way we want to finish the trial, we should not, we should continue have our eyes open, because even if Golden Dawn finishes formally as a structure, we still face the issue, we still face the problem. The problem that 10% of the Greek electorate feel safe, comfortable, and with this political identity. And of course, let me associate with what's happening today in the general political and economic Greek agenda. In a country which slips inside, in a country which faces the circumstances of Greece today, I think we have a very fertile soil for the consolidation of far right-wing political culture. And that is something which has been witnessed by the historical experience of Europe, and particularly the German experience of the interwar. An isolated, stigmatized, humiliated, defeated country provides the excellent, fertile soil for the consolidation of Nazism. So actually that will be my argument. And this is my argument when I meet Germans today. So, why monitor it, the trial? So as Ioanna said at the beginning, we formed the GoldenDawnWatch, an initiative to monitor the trial, organized by the Greek League for Human Rights, the Greek Observatory Against Fascism and Racist Speech in the Media, which works as a part of the Educational Foundation of the Journalists Union of Athens daily newspapers, the Anti-Fascist League of Athens and Piraeus, and the City of Athens Migration Integration Council. So the main aspect here of the initiative is the website GoldenDawnWatch.org, which will be managed by an editorial group. And of course the initiative is already supported in various ways by a big number of anti-racist and anti-fascist organizations, foundations, NGOs, and so on, citizens groups and migrants organizations. It appears self-evident to me that it's almost unnecessary to argue that respect for all constitutional guarantees of due process towards every accused, whoever they may be, constitutes a sine qua non entitlement in a state governed by the rule of law. Accordingly, whenever there are problems, they should be identified and given prominence. I recognize that this creates an additional suspicion and burden towards a system of justice that most frequently has been demonstrating deeply conservative ideological preferences in the course of trials of crucial importance for the Greek society. As regards Golden Dawn, the main problem of the Greek justice until now, until recently, was not the excessive zeal, but on the contrary, the deafening indifference to the fact that people were committing crimes coordinatedly as its members. Let me conclude by saying that the members of the Golden Dawn are not in the dock for their ideas, but for their actions. Actions not attributed to drunkenness or to the heat of the moment, but to their, unfortunate for them and for us all, membership in the organization and their ideology regarding subhumans. These morbid ideas lead to criminal acts that no state should or could ever leave unpunished. Democracy defends itself, not in any which way, but according to norms dictated by rule of law. Yet, once faced with threats, one thing is inconceivable: indifference. This is the message for this trial, the motto of the International Federation of Human Rights: awareness. We've got plenty of reasons to keep our eyes open. Thank you very much.